Okay, last but not least, I wanted to bring you this special star. And this is a quilt pattern that I am modifying to a layout. So I'm hoping this is going to be something you can use for other things besides just Christmas. But I am designing it using Christmas papers so that you can see how you could use it for a Christmas layout. The star is so important to Christmas because it's what led the wise men to find Jesus. And even though what we celebrate as the true tradition may not be the real story of what happened, I love the analogy of a star leading the way and helping us to find the Savior. So we're going to make this special star, and I hope that you will join me and create this for your albums. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. Okay, so now that we are on our very last of our 12 layouts for Christmas, today we're going to be making some flowers, right? But we're going to make them out of scraps. We're going to make them look like poinsettias, and these are right in line with my quilting patterns. So if you are a quilter, then you probably will recognize this pattern, although I think my version is going to be a little easier than doing a quilted sewn version. At least that's the plan. Let's see if that works, okay? So right now, I have a bunch of pieces of plaid that I have used in various layouts this season and other seasons. And I have the two pieces of the lava, the red and the dark green lava paper that we used to make all those dots. So we're going to use, I'm hoping we're going to use up most of this. So let's just go ahead and get cracking, shall we? I'm thinking I want to coordinate or use the red plaids together, even though this has green in it, and the green plaids together. But let's see how many petals we can make with each one, and then we'll try to figure it out from there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some pieces, and this one is just perfect. You want it, you want scraps that are at least 4 by 2.5. That's the biggest size rectangle that we need, okay? So this particular one is almost exactly the right size. I just need to cut it down to 2.5 this direction, and that'll be perfect because it's already at 4 inches. So that's perfect. So I'm just going to cut a bunch of rectangles, and we're going to cut them at 2.5 by 4. Okay, so I'm going to stick with my red here for just a second. And let's just see how many we can get from each pattern. These are going to have to be cut just slightly. 4 and 4. And this one is already 4. And so I'm just going to stack those together. And we're going to measure those to 2.5. Okay. Let's see if we can do just a couple more. We'll take this one down to 2.5, and then we need this. Let's see if we can get 2 4-inch pieces from this one. Yay, okay, so that works, good. All right, and let's take this one, and we'll do, if you take your 12-inch paper, if you have a 12-inch piece like this one, cut it at 2.5 inches, then you can get 3 4-inch pieces from that when you turn it sideways. 1, 2, 3, And that gives me 4 of that pattern and 4 of that pattern. And then I need 4 more. So it takes 8 rectangles to make 1 flower. So that's going to use up a significant amount of your scraps. And if you want to mix them up together, mix your patterns together, then you're going to use up even more of your scraps. So, so keep that in mind, I would say, because yeah, that's the purpose of this particular layout, is to make something that's pretty, but also is going to help you use up some of those Christmas scraps that you have laying around. So 4, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one into 2, just in case. So I actually need some more of this red, this predominantly red plaid, in order to make that match. But I have those 2 that are extra. I don't have any more of this one, but I am going to substitute it with this one, and let's see what we can do here. This one kind of introduces some gold, which is not a bad thing at Christmas. I don't feel like that's a bad thing at all. So we're gonna one, 2, buckle my shoe. Let's do. Either way, we're gonna have odd numbers. An odd number, that's okay. It'll be all right. Okay, and then let's try and see if we can get a, let's see if we can get enough to do one of the one in green. Let's see. So we could actually use the green ones with that one. That would be okay, I think. Especially if we just had it kind of be a mix mosh of all different plaids. So let's see what we can get out of this one. It's going to only be 1. Yeah, it's a little shy of what we need, so we'll just set that over there. Let's see what we can get with this one. So I'm able to get 3 from this one, and that will make just enough. The green one will just be lots of different plaids, which is okay. We can do that. Okay, so we got 3 flowers here, and we're gonna need 2 more. So I'm going to cut I'm gonna need 8 of each of these colors. 8 red and 8 green. 6. So I'm just stacking them on top of each other. And that can be, that's 2 and 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what I was thinking, because I need 8, so we'll cut this one also. Eight, and then we're gonna cut. All right, so we have 1, one more than we need of the red, but that's okay. All right. One, two, three, four green. 1, 2, 3, 4 green. 1, 2, 3, 4 red. 1, 2, 3, 4 red. All right. Now, what you're going to need to do is get your scoring blade out. Put your scoring blade into your trimmer. Okay. I'm going to set the straight blade right over there so I don't forget it's over there. Now, the easiest thing I have found is to go ahead and mark each one of these. If you don't need to do that, then that's fine. But it's best if you take each one of these papers, and whichever side is easier for you, you can mark it. You're going to need to mark the center. So the center of each of the short sides. And then you're going to need to mark, let me check my measurements, 1.5 inches down each of the long sides. So it helps if you have a mat that you can put it on, because then you can find the center really easy this way, and you can measure to 1.5 inches this way. And just mark each piece. And if you're using dark colors, like I'm using dark colors, then you may want to flip it over and use the back to mark it. But each one of these is going to need to be marked so that you can score them all exactly the same. Okay, so I've only marked one. I'm going to go back and mark these other ones, but let me show you what you're going to do after you have marked them, okay? You're going to take each one of these, and you're going to take your scoring blade, and you're going to, on the shorter side where you marked that 1.5 inches, you're going to go from the 1.5 inch mark to the center, and you're going to line those up on your cutting line and score. Then you're going to turn it and do the same thing on the other side, on the opposite side. So from the center to that 1.5 inch mark, score. All right. So you have a scoring line here and a scoring line here. It's hard to see on camera. Sorry about that. That's a little bit better. Okay. Then after you have scored all of them, then you're going to take and put your cutting blade back in, and you're going to cut the longer side. So you're going to go from that 1.5 inch mark to the center side on the longer side. Okay. And you're going to cut that rectangle off. Then go from the center to that 1.5 inch mark. All right. Line was a little off. We probably should try that one more time so I can get that a little bit better. Visually, I am not Not seeing that, but that's okay. It'll be all right. All right, so then you're going to fold at the score line towards the back of the paper, wherever the back of your paper is, okay? And then you're going to do that for each one of your pieces, okay? So go ahead and once you haven't done, just set it aside until you've done all of your pieces. Keep your groupings together. That'll make things a little bit easier on you in the end, okay? So I'm just going to work through all of this, and it won't be on camera, but we'll go ahead and edit it out. But I'm going to go ahead and mark all of these pieces and do exactly what I did there. I'll do one more piece for you so you can see it again. Mind you, I have my cutting blade in here, so I'm going to start from the center and cut the long bit. Okay, so the center on the cutting line and the 1.5 inch mark. Then rotate and do the 1.5 inch mark to the center point down here. Okay. Then switch your blades out. And do score from the center to the 1.5 inch mark, and from the center to the other 1.5 inch mark. Fold those in. Don't cut them off, fold them in, there's a reason. All right, and make a pile. All right, see you in a second. All right, so you can see I've gotten quite a bit done while we've been magically separated here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this last group with you so that you can see how it is that I did this. So I went ahead and I've cut the long side like I showed you before. I have my scoring blade in here, and so I'm going to go ahead and finish scoring this last set just from just on this top angle. So this is from the 1.5 inch point that we measured to the center. Okay, and each time that I score those, I go ahead and fold in the corners and then just sort of set it to the side. This is the fastest way I have found for doing this. Again, if you're going to do all 5 of these flowers for the 2-page layout, this is going to take you a little while. Just settle in and know that this is not a fast layout. It will use up your scraps, but it's not a fast layout. So I hope that nobody started this expecting it to be a fast layout. Anyway, you could conceivably do a smaller number of flowers and do a single page layout, or maybe do a double page layout and not do as many flowers. It's just up to you, however many scraps you have. But I'm doing 5 flowers because I had a lot of scraps, and just know that it takes a bit of time to do this. So if you're working along with me and you need to pause the video to catch up, just do that. And, put on some music or something like that. I always tell my kids that when they're trying to clean their room or get something done that's going to take a while, turn on some music. It seems like it doesn't take as long when you have some music to listen to or sing along to. That's what this kind of project is to me. So, because there's lots of repetition, at least at the point we're at right now, there's lots of repetition. Remember to be careful with your scoring blade. Don't push too hard. If you're going to go over it a couple times, make sure that you're careful not to apply too much pressure, because you just don't want to cut your paper, and your scoring blade will cut your paper if you give it enough pressure. Okay, so try to remember and be careful about that. Okay, so once you have these all folded, I'm going to take my scoring blade out, replace my straight blade, otherwise all kinds of trouble will ensue, trust me. So putting that away. And then I've got my foam squares. I'm just going to use the itty bitties, and I've already foam squared the rest of these so that you can see that they are good to go. Okay, so there's like a little pocket in there. Can you see the little foam square in there? And it's just holding things together. But really, the next step I have found easiest is to take your repositionable adhesive, or you can use your permanent adhesive. Permanent adhesive actually might be a better deal. I've had a couple of these pop. They're not going to stay popped because we're going to adhere them down to a base sheet. But using your permanent adhesive right off the bat would definitely keep them from popping. Okay, so we've got our adhesive on the right hand flap, not on the left. You don't need it on the left, you only need it on the right. Okay, and then you just go in here with your your tiniest foam square, stick it on there, take the flap off, and fold them together and adhere. Just a couple of seconds of pressure is really all you need there. And by doing this, our petals will have a little more of a three-dimensional feel. So that's why we're doing this. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas with all of your loved ones. If you went out of town, I'd love to hear about any trips that you've taken. Excuse me. We tend to not go out of town for the holidays because many members of our family are right here in town. And so we just stay. And unlike many parts of the Midwest, we haven't gotten a lot of snow this year, so it's been a little chilly, but not too snowy, at least not yet. My kids keep saying, "Mom, it's only fall." And they're not wrong at this point. But, you know, that's okay. All right, I'm going to get some black cardstock and some white cardstock, I think. I think that's going to show off our designs best. Okay, so I have 2 sheets of black and 2 sheets of bright white. And I'm just going to make a couple of base sheets very quickly. I want a black frame around the outside and white frame or white centers. So we're going to take our black pieces, they're stacked together. We're just going to make a quick 1-inch frame to go around the outside. By now y'all should be pros at the 1-inch frame. If for some reason you are new to my channel and you are not familiar with how to make a 1-inch frame, go to this link up here in the corner and watch that video, and it'll teach you all about how to make a 1-inch frame. We do it a lot. It just sort of, I feel like it adds just a little touch of nice finish to your layout. So I do like it. Don't always do it, but I do I find that I do it a lot more often lately than I ever have before. So, okay, so there's our 1-inch frame. Then we're going to take our 2 pieces of bright white and we're going to cut them down. We're just going to cut a 1/2 inch off of each edge. So a 1/2 inch off of this side. Then we're going to turn it once and we're going to cut a 1/2 inch off of this side. All right. Now I'm going to use my permanent adhesive and I'm going to go around the edge. 5 spots on each flat side I have found works well for me, but everybody has their preference. So do what you feel works best for you. All right, and then we're going to center this on top of our black frame. It's going to give you roughly 1/4 inch all the way around of black. We'll do the same thing to this one. Okay, so there are the base sheets that we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to set those up there just for the time being. Now we're going to play with our flower petals. All right, and I'm going to use these shimmery ones first so you can kind of get a sense of what I'm working on here. I'm going to put a little adhesive on the right hand side, same side that we added adhesive to before. And I'm going to line up the points in the center and put this point that's on the left roughly in the middle of that other petal. Okay, and we're going to do an every other one situation. Okay, so adhesive down that side. And we're going to add to the point in here. And I am leaving just a little bit of a gap so my points are not exactly together. Hope you can see that on camera. Can you see how those points are just adjacent to one another? I'm hoping that's going to be what we want. We're going to find out here shortly. All right, I'm thinking that maybe that's not what I want because this is not going to close properly. We probably needed one more. So let's see if I put my points exactly together, if that changes things. trying to do this so you can see it as I am moving them in and making the points match in the middle. We're still not going to match. We need one more. So what am I doing wrong? Let's see. Let's go just to the right of center and see if that will help us. Well, we're at least coming closer together here. So let's go just even a little further. All right, that's too far. What in the world is going on? Okay. Wow. Well, that took a lot of doing. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of one of those spinning things we used to blow on when we were kids. Wouldn't that be so fun to make, like at summertime for a layout with your grands? Wouldn't that be so fun? I'm loving that. Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do with all of the rest of them. So, but we'll fast forward it for you so you don't have to go through all of that with me, okay? All right. Now that we have our our flowers put together. Let's see how they fit on here. I'm not, now that I'm looking at them, I'm not even actually sure we'll be able to fit them all. My thought was that I would cut one in half and put it right in the middle, and then I don't know, maybe more like that. And then do a shiny one on each side. And then these guys on the edges. And then my photos could go all the way across the top, or even right in the center of our flowers. Now that I look at it, that might be too much. We might need to, you know, spread them out a little. Maybe not do quite so much, or maybe have them go off the edge so we can trim them just a little. I don't know. Thoughts? I would love to know what you think. This is not an exact science, so it's having other people's input is good. This is where virtually doing this kind of is harder, because if we were sitting at a crop together, I would simply say to you, what do you think? And you would be able to give me immediate feedback. All right, well, I think I'm going to go with that, even though it's going to look very busy. And then we'll cut some mats to go across the top. And go ahead and add some adhesive to the back. Lots of adhesive to the back so that it will not cause issues when we cut this one apart, because this one's going to get bisected, I guess is the best way to say that. Bisected, cut in half. Oh, hang on. I should have made sure my base pages were lined up properly before I did that, and I did not check it. So let me just fix those real quick. Here. That will be fine. And we can glue down the points of these, or we can just leave them sticking up for some added definition. Whatever makes you happy, you go ahead and do, okay? So I'm just going to sort of make a box of adhesive on the back. And then I'm going to weave this in and through my petals, because, you know, all of the petals just kind of all go in and amongst themselves when they're growing. All right, this one we're also gonna weave in and out. And we're going to just trim off anything that's going to be hanging over. So not to worry if you see something that's not on the page. I'm not too awfully concerned about it. You could use this same technique and you could make your petals even smaller than I did. If you wanted to. And then it would be, you probably need, you know, a couple more flowers to go across the bottom if you wanted to go all the way across the bottom. I think we're going to go with that. Okay. So I'm going to grab my trimmer and we're going to cut this one down the middle. Hope it doesn't fall apart. I think it'll be okay. But if it does, we may have to do some repair work, and that's okay. Go on, do there. All these little petals. Okay. Come on now. You need to stay stuck together so that I can cut the top of it apart. That's why it's coming apart. Come on now. There we go. Okay, just lining that up on my cutting line. And I'm going to go right through and cut all of that apart. Okay. I'm just going to fold that over. I think that's okay. It's all nice and stuck on there. I'm going to add a little adhesive to that side, I think. All right, but before I put my trimmer away, I'm going to grab my inserts from the from when we gutted our black page, and I'm going to cut. If I cut that at 4, then I have these at 6, so I can cut. These will be 6 by 4, and another 6 by 4. This is an extra strip. We'll get one 4x4 and another 6x4. So 3 6x4s and a 4x4 from each one of these. I don't know if we're going to need that many though. So I'll do another 4-inch one. We'll turn that and cut it for another 4x4 and 4x6. And let's see what we can do with that before we cut into this other piece. All right. Let's secure some of our flowers down a little bit better. This one needs just a little bit of extra help so that he stays in place. Looks like he's okay on this other side. It was just that top side that looked a little bit not right. This one will give a little bit more stability as well. Okay, now let's see if we can arrange these mats. We can put one there. We can put wow, do that on both sides. Let's just do 2 vertical with the 4x4 in the middle. 2 vertical 4x6s and the 4x4 in the middle. That looks fancy. Let me get some photo placement cards so we can see what we're looking at here. Okay, I'm gonna put some repositionable adhesive on the back side of these real quick. Okay. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and put 3.5 by 5. Sit. All right. So that would be my recommendation for where to put your photos. But you could actually put photos on top of these. These papers are photo safe, so you can certainly do circular photos and put on top of your flowers down here if you wanted to, and add to the number of photos on the layout. All right, I know this one was a lot of work. Thanks for hanging in there with me to see the end result. I appreciate it. And I hope this is, oh, we still need to trim off the edges. Still need to do that. I'll trim off the edges so you can see that in the final thumbnail. And if you wanted to, you could put something in the middle right here. I don't know what I would recommend. Maybe just a small circle of green or red probably would be what I would do. But I think it looks okay to just leave it like that too, with nothing there. If you wanted to, you could also add stitching, but I think the stitching might be overkill, especially with the plaids. If you use a solid colored papers, then you could totally add stitching and this would be super cute. Thanks so much for joining me and for hanging in there with me. I know this was a long one. I don't think I have anything super magnanimous to tell you because we'll be back before the end of the year. So I will see you next time around. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.